The link is in the comments right now, or will be.
All right. Episode 48. Getting fired because of your social media. How your social media posts can come back and haunt you. And we're going to start that right now.
Welcome to the only real estate podcast worth listening to, with your hosts Nick Good, Matt Kelderman, and Brian Force. Combined, they have 26 years of experience and have sold over 1,500 homes. Join them each week as they bring you everything you need to know about real estate. And now, here are your hosts, Nick, Matt, and Brian.
All right. We're up and running.
Ooh. We got all three camera angles
Week
going.
two in
That's
the
right.
new spot.
Week 2 in the new spot, and we're only 10 minutes late.
It's a
So
delay.
Derek is getting better.
Look, we're just dumping this squarely on
cool
Derek.
we look.
I mean, that's what Aaron Foster said, right?
That is what Aaron said.
Right? So, and we made sure to have the TV off this time so Brian would stop looking at himself during the whole
Now
show.
I'm going to look right into your soul the whole time.
So,
Oh, boys.
all right, as we get started, hey, we are doing, if you're watching this live and listening right now, we are doing a webinar tomorrow, Thursday, 11 a.m. Central Time. You're going to want to get registered. We have the link in the comments. We are doing how to build and scale your business utilizing virtual assistants. Right? We're going to have Justin Nelson on. Justin is Justin, man, he's a good dude who's built up his entire business using VAs.
Yep.
And I think he's got 8 of them right now. One of them even, he'll take a photo of his fridge and they'll order him groceries.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Are you
I didn't
serious?
get
Yeah.
that.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's already a good idea.
I want one of those.
Lady, remember that. I think my wife's watching.
I thought Lady
Write
does
that down.
Doesn't Lady just order your groceries?
No, we still physically go to the grocery store.
You
which
do?
I think is
You guys gotta
I
get off
think it's-
that.
I think
Dude,
it's.
what do you-
Oh, don't. Hey, thank
I spent
you.
$5 to
Thank
order
you.
groceries.
I think.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So
See,
you
I
can
have advocate. I
you
have
can
advocates.
register for that webinar that is tomorrow. In the links, the registrations in the comment links. If you're listening to this on iTunes, go into the only real estate group worth being a part of, and we'll be able to get you a long-term replay on that. I'm sure we can save that, right, Tech Director
Oh, yeah.
Brian?
It'll be up forever.
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 Brian knows how to save videos.
Literally, yeah. Figured it out.
Yeah, yeah. So, dude, this one here. So if you're not part of the Facebook group, I don't want to dive into this one yet.
I know. I kind of like it's kind. I don't think there's 45 minutes for to talk about. If you're part of the group, the only real estate group we're being a part of, you saw us posted in there yesterday. If you're part of any real estate group, you probably saw the article yesterday about the agent got canned over the Kobe
think that
post.
we have to really sugarcoat. It's been out there.
Yeah, no, I mean it's
put
not
it-
even
yeah.
skirting it. I'll talk about it because I have very firm opinions on it. But it's just
So what we're
crazy
situation. talking
situation.
about right now, and before we get to that topic, please go ahead and join the only real estate group worth being a part of. Go ahead and add at least one real estate professional to that, and leave us an iTunes review if you're watching this or listening to this on iTunes. We just had someone to leave us a great review today, I think it was.
Yeah, Macy just posted it.
Yeah, Macy posted that in the only real estate. The only
She put on the only real estate podcast
Yeah.
we're listening to, which you can find the link there too to the webinar tomorrow. but it's on that
Absolutely.
page, yeah.
So what we're really talking about is how can your social media and your presence and your posts come back and haunt you?
Yeah.
And we're talking about an agent that was let go from their brokerage because of a post about the Kobe Bryant death.
Yeah. And rapidly picked up by another brokerage, which that was another part
Yeah,
of the story.
we'll talk about that in a
We'll dive
minute.
into
I
all that
mean-
as we go. Here's the thing is, so if you don't know what the post was, like I'll just put it out there, a simple Google search will find it. An agent posted a picture of Kobe and essentially said who is his realtor, right? Agent
It was a
has since-
picture of it was a Kobe Bryant quote.
Yeah, it was a
okay.
Kobe Bryant
Him-
quote,
okay,
like, do you
you're
know
right,
who his
yeah,
realtor
yeah.
was, right? And it was within a couple hours. And again, it's not whether or not, I don't believe it's whether or not you thought it was insensitive or not, or whether it was a
Right.
fireable offense. Like, the question that I feel like that we constantly have to answer because we do this. Brian and I do another podcast that we don't just give the name out to, but if you want to know about it, reach out to us, right? Like, there is a responsibility that you need to have to yourself and your business when putting yourself out on social media or video as much as you do, that stuff can get sideways on you pretty quickly that you might think is a little quippy or a little funny, or maybe it doesn't cut you to the core, but like Kobe thing affected a lot of people. You had to have known it was a bad idea to imply that you were looking for a business opportunity around his death.
Well, and here's the bigger thing. You're 100% right. Like, if you typed that out and then didn't think that it might be misconstrued, like, man, your level of awareness is pretty low. But the thing that really twisted me off about it is, and this is where we can dive really into like social media etiquette for professionals and entrepreneurs especially, is like, when you put something out there, no matter what it is, if you're an entrepreneur and you get backlash immediately, don't double down.
Eject.
Just eject. Take it the fuck down. It doesn't matter if you think you're right. Arguing with people is not going to change. If you can prove to me, or if you can show me evidence of anyone ever arguing with anybody online and then them eventually coming to an agreement about anything, I will be blown away. It just doesn't work that way. And for you,
You mean those political posts?
yeah,
It
right?
doesn't
like
work
where they
like
all
that?
just like kiss and make up at the end. Like, this person put this out there, received immediate backlash, and then wasn't smart enough to go, you know what? I think I rubbed some people the wrong way. I'm going to apologize and take this down. No, she doubled down on Facebook. She doubled down on Instagram. She's now talking about filing a lawsuit against EXP. Like, how hard do you have to double down to just realize that you've probably just ruined your career? Like, and you just won't stop.
It just doesn't go away, right? Like, I mean, it blew up yesterday because of the article, which that's another part of the conversation I want to get to, just about the article itself in general and like what that was all about. But it is now officially out there as a Google search that will always be associated with this agent's name.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the main thing that I see it on, where even, I mean, we posted, Matt, you had posted the what did you people's thoughts and opinions on it yesterday in the group, right? And I mean that thread took off,
Yeah. Yep.
right? And even in that, I'm looking at some of the posts and I cringe a little bit because things can get misconstrued.
Yes.
And if you have to go back and have to explain yourself that way, in my opinion, you're already losing
Yes.
the game.
And that's where that's going back to what I was saying. Like, I'll just put it that people have a lot harder opinions on the actual post than I do. I'm more neutral. There's another post that I'm sure we'll talk about that I got much firmer opinions on. This was, I would say, an ambiguous enough post that I'm not going to sit here and try to put myself in your shoes and try to decipher exactly what you meant, right? If you meant something that was much more innocuous than how people took it, I will believe you if you say that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is you put it out there. You are somebody who lives basically. You put yourself out there online in a business sense because you can generate business. Your whole brand is online. You put something out there that whether you meant it that way or not, people got twisted off about it. And instead of just retracting it, you made it so much worse by battling.
I was a little confused about, again, I think, the situation was really confusing, right? Like, this is a real estate show, so we're not getting into it, but I think a lot of people felt a lot more affected by that than they realized it.
Oh,
So
100%.
So one, you turned the mob loose on yourself in an emotional situation, right?
Yes.
Like, that was the first mistake. I don't have any problem with what the brokerage did. I think, and again, this particular agent, it's hard, and our show has some reach. Hopefully it's not enough for this opinion to matter too much. But I had seen that other agent in other groups being abrasive and essentially trolling people on her own posts.
Yeah, this was a patternistic.
So, and I said that in our post yesterday. I kind of thought it was the person deserved it.
If you knew
because
the
of who they
history of
were.
this, I didn't know this person, so that's why I wasn't passing
Yeah.
judgment.
But
Like,
I don't
apparently, if you
think-
knew the history of this person,
That's just my personal.
But that's not the reason they get fired.
100%,
Right? Here's
no.
the thing: when the message gets out of control
Yes.
the way it is, you have to take a stance, right? And look, you lose in both stance.
Sure.
The stance you take, you're going to lose.
Yes.
There's no winning stance on this one, right? And so, EXP had to let this person go.
right?
And there was even backlash on that, where people were like, "I don't understand
It's just
why."
nonsense.
Like freedom of speech.
This is going to be opinion. This is going to be an episode of some hard opinions because when we go down some of these rabbit holes, I know all three of us got some hard opinions on these things. If you are the type of person that is not forward thinking enough, and you're putting out there like, "Oh, this was all basically just EXP trying to get branding and recruiting because they fired her publicly and stuff," like, it's not how it works. EXP didn't have a whole bunch of people just monitoring all of their agents' social media in the aftermath of Kobe Bryant's tragic death, just looking to put somebody on blast. No, what happened was this person put this out there, enough people made a stink about it, and EXP, I'm sure, received enough inbound communication about, like, did you see what one of your agents put out there? that now for their own optics, they have a responsibility to their own brand, not to the agent. If the agent is one of many, right? You're going to fire the agent, right? But you have optics to your own brand. If you quietly just fire this agent, it doesn't do anything for the brand because not everybody's going to know that you took a stand. Sure. You actually have to take a public stand because you're the ones receiving that inbound communication that says, like, hey, did you see what one of your agents did? If they didn't make at least a little bit of a spectacle of it, it wouldn't have protected the integrity of what EXP believes their core values are.
And the article was not the article was picked up by somebody else. That was not an EXP-related article.
EXP put a social media status out. That's all they did.
The state broker jumped into that group that was posted and basically had apologized on behalf of one, saying, look, that is not the viewpoint of the brokerage.
Sure. It was just a social media post that he put out there. Then the Real Deal picked it up. Inman picked it up. Like, all those people jumped in after the broker spoke on social media. But it didn't sound for me like the broker was calling up Brad Inman. It was like, hey, guess what we're going to do? Like, no.
And was this person let go before the news articles, or that's the question I have. I don't know.
I think the person was let go pretty immediately. Being let go.
Wasn't there an immediate kind of reaction to we're aware this happened?
That was the post on social media. Yes.
So and we'll get back to you later, right? In less than 48 hours, action had been taken.
Sure.
Yep.
Right? Like let's not. I don't really care who picked it up first because the reality is Kobe's own wife found out from TMZ that her husband had died before she knew. Like
100%,
the media's responsibility in disseminating information is like apparently they just don't care anymore.
No.
The reality is like, I don't even know how much I care about the post from the standpoint. There was somebody who posted in our thing yesterday that they had seen worse. 100%. There were people worse. There were people seeing stuff worse. I'm not saying whether I agree that she should get fired or not. I just think from a real estate perspective that the forward-facing aspect of your business from a Google search, just in acquiring new business, why would you put yourself out there on such a risky thing that, look, even if it didn't, you knew it's going to be offensive to people. There's no way that you could, I think you could skirt around that. And the idea that wasn't what she meant, she was really just like it was just
the response was, I wanted to know so that person could wish condolences to the realtor.
Sure.
But what does that mean?
What does that mean?
I'll tell you what it means.
It
means that this is a nonsense person.
It was the fastest thing they could come up with to backtrack, right?
It's not a real
It's
thing.
kind of like on Cops. Like, I used to love watching Cops, which I still love watching Cops. And they find drugs in the car. No, that's not mine. It was in your pocket. Well, it's not mine, man. Someone else put it there. Like, what?
It was just so silly. It was
I was
just
running because you were chasing me.
Yeah, dude. The whole thing was silly. I think I try to have an open mind about, especially about not being offended by people's jokes or whatever. It didn't feel topical. It didn't feel relevant. It didn't feel like it. Definitely is not the, as real estate agents, we tend to wear out memes, right?
Sure,
like how many people saw Prince Henry and whatever, like, or
name's
Harry getting ready to leave. Yeah, Henry.
Moving out of your mom's house.
Moving out of your mom's house, right? Like, we'll let you know when it's time for something to go viral, right? Like, Kobe's death was not that moment.
Yeah, I didn't even get the bit.
No, I don't.
Usually, if something's a joke, I'll at least get the joke, and I'm like, it's not a funny joke. I understand the joke, and I don't think it's. I didn't even get the bit.
Like I said, I think all of us as real estate agents need to be really hyper aware of what we're sticking out there.
Well,
and don't be egregiously stupid.
And now, you get fired from a brokerage, and in my opinion, I think
isn't that almost impossible?
I was going to say, isn't it, unless you're doing something illegal,
it's very difficult.
Like, isn't it very hard to get fired?
Yeah, it's very difficult. And the firing, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the firing isn't even the part I'm focused on, because you get fired, she already got picked up by another brokerage. It's more so, what I want to dive into, where I think we're taking this, is how that's going to affect that person's business. Your brokerage is the umbrella you hang your license under. This person has royally screwed themselves in the real estate, I think, industry.
From a yes and no. I mean, look, I know some brokers that have done some bad things.
Oh, for sure.
That unfortunately they just got their hands slapped. I mean, I won't even go to details because I'm one person, but like that person's still in business and it doesn't come up, which it should. I mean, it's in the news. So I think temporarily it may affect this person's business, but I mean, I definitely soils the reputation when that person's going to bring a deal. Like, I don't want to be associated.
How much does
with
the
that.
real estate community matter, though?
Well, I'll tell you who it does matter to.
Like, if all the realtors hate her, does that
So
matter?
wait, correct me if I'm wrong here. There was one other comment that I was going to mention that that was all very controversial as well. They got posted in our own group that we just kind of like shut the whole thing down. Was that comment originally made by a lender?
That comment was not made in our group. That,
That was
comment
not
was
in our
made
group.
on someone else's
Right, I know,
page.
but
Somebody
it was
posted the
mentioned in
screenshot
our
of it,
group.
yeah.
Was that made by a lender?
Yes.
I believe so, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what
That
person's-
person is fucked. And I'll just tell you right now, that's where the real estate industry does matter, right? When your clients are the real estate industry,
Yes.
Well,
and you're putting shit like that out
what
there.
was it said? Like people don't know what's
I
going
will
on.
just tell you word for word, and I hope this person watches the show because I told you we're going to get some hard opinions. This is the only hard opinion I will share on this show, this episode. There was a comment made in a Facebook group that someone reshared of a lender, and the comment was,
a daughter dies for the sins of her father. And then
Yeah.
it was like karma and then some
Yeah.
emojis and
which
some other
no
stuff.
matter how you feel about Kobe Bryant or whatever, to say that about his daughter dying, I fucking hate you. I just want you to know that. I think you're a shitty person, and I hope I meet you someday so I can say it to your face. And I hope that your business fails because of you putting that out there, because I hope no realtor with any common sense ever works with you again.
The problem is those things, again, and I don't subscribe to the mob mentality as we sit here on our show and talk about a very specific incident.
As we
but-
dogpile on people.
Right, but I don't think that person's comment will ever get out. There are very few people who saw it. The post was taken down.
No, it's been screenshotted.
It's
Man.
been
It's
screenshotted.
I'll tell you
and,
this,
and
though.
this person doubled down. Like that
They
person
There's
doubled
doubled down.
157
so
comments under her
hard.
comment. I saw the original post.
So hard that person
It was
doubled
pretty
down.
bananas.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. When you double down that hard, though, I do have faith that, you know, as a society, people tend to act reasonable in the long term in big groups, I think. I think that if you have that type of attitude, you probably don't need people to ruin your business. You're probably going to just show your two colors on your own eventually.
I love
And
Patrice.
hurt yourself. Like,
She loves Brian getting all fired up.
That just doesn't resonate. To bring children into it, I just can't imagine the mindset of a person that thinks that's reasonable to put on a real estate post.
Yeah, I don't understand why anybody's post. I'm not one to share those types of opinions in the first place publicly out there. Like
This is about
I
as
don't-
raw as we get on this
I
show
don't
for social
understand-
media.
Yeah, like even me sharing it this way is uncomfortable for me because
Sure.
it's not natural. I'll do it off camera and not on social media. But
Yeah.
it's like why does someone feel the need to go put that out there in the first place?
What are you gaining?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, it is as small as the dopamine hit from everybody fighting back with you on social
That's
media.
what it's the draw to being antagonistic.
That's all it
Which
is. There are
does
just
not
people-
bode well for you long term.
My mom used to date this guy after my parents got divorced that used to make us kids just eat stuff we hated. Like, he put huge chunks of tomatoes in my spaghetti
gone
just to
off
mess
on it.
with me, right? Like, there's just people who just like to F with people all the
Yeah.
time, right? Like, and I think that's where that mentality comes. And then you take it along with maybe being slightly irrational,
Sure.
and you throw it out there on social media. I don't know. And then you're a defensive person, so now you got to defend yourself. Like, it's
You
just
got a
a
triple threat going.
culmination of like therapist ready issues, just all coming together at once.
The thing that gets to me though is like when you just get so dug in on stuff like this, when you're in a business where like you're arguing with people who could make your life better in the sense that like you are in real estate, you work with realtors as your clients, they're telling you we don't like this.
Yep.
And they're in a position like, hey, you could be a vendor of ours. You could be a business partner of ours. Like in reality, like we all have goals, we all have a vision to realize. Like you get what you want by helping enough other people get what they want, as the old adage goes. Like the people who could give you what you want, meaning more business, are telling you, stop it. Erase the comment and just move on with your life. And you just can't.
Yep.
You just double down again and again and again. And it's like,
I don't think
That's-
people are socially aware of that, though. I mean, there
That's-
was even in our group where, and I won't talk about what was posted in that.
Yeah.
But there was someone that posted something, and I called that person. I said, delete that,
Yeah.
because it can
Yeah.
get misconstrued, right? And it's like you have to analyze the way things are going to be looked at.
Sure.
Right. And again, once the message, once it's out there and it gets out of control, it's hard to fix.
That
right.
is
and
what-
look at that newscaster.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, look at the newscaster who was reporting it. I believe that she was fired.
Yes.
For
Same
for
day.
a word slip,
immediately.
right?
Yep.
And so it's like, it's again, once it's out there and people are calling for your head, you as a company have to take action.
Sure.
Yes.
Right? And then I look at it, and I posted in the only real estate group worth being a part of. So if you're not a part of that group, go join it right now because you want to see this. Is like, what brokerage? Like, I'm a broker. I would not sponsor that person.
No.
Did the and this is a big name brokerage that picked this person up immediately. Did they know about this?
Do you think she'll be there for long though? Because this article did go crazy yesterday, and I understand, like,
It did.
we got some people watching right now, and they may not all be real estate agents, so someone may have no clue what we're talking about. Which, hit us up if you don't, whatever. But like, do you think that brokerage sees all of this? Our little show, all these pages. I mean, dude, it was on LCA yesterday, right? Like, real estate agents want to make fun of LCA. It's 100,000 agent real estate group. It's a massive real estate group.
Yep.
And it took off in there.
Yeah.
Right?
A couple times. Right?
So
I saw more posts that were like, this is old news. This has already been on a huge
No
thread. Like, tons of
brokerage
people,
can be unaware of stuff that's going on in a Facebook group that way. There's just too many agents that are a part of that, right?
I think the lesson to take from this, too, is just like, to talk about actionable stuff, right? You can be yourself on social media and have fun and be your brand. You got to remember you're an entrepreneur trying to build a business here. You cannot go around twisting people off on purpose.
Yeah.
And to make no mistake, this was on purpose. When I say that it was on purpose, I mean like the initial post might not have been. Everything after that was, right? You can be yourself. You can have fun. Dude, Matt and I do taco videos, which if you've ever seen one of ours, they're about as edgy as they get. We literally have not put some out because we watched them back and we're like, we said fuck 87 times in that video. We just can't put this out, right? Like, we have to edit them down a lot because when he and I get together and have some Mexican mules or some margaritas or whatever, like, we start to talk like pirates sometimes, right? And then we clean it up to put it on social media because we like being edgy and fun and they're funny videos. But we're not idiots either. We don't purposely put stuff out that we know is like going to really upset people,
So
right?
do you think is that the Howard Stern mentality right now, that shock jock thing of people just throwing things out?
It's a weird bit.
Right,
You bet.
it is because, I mean, I see people where they say if you're in the middle ground, you're not winning either one of the crowds, right? So you need to be on one side or the other so that you can just gain the following. And I'm like, I just don't know about that. Here's the thing, if I were to make a joke like that, right? Let's say that's my personality style, but I have to look around first to see if someone's there. Yeah. First of all, if I have to do that out in public, I'm damn well not posting that on social media. Like, it just, I mean...
Here's the thing:
the reach is a lot further.
Yes. The reach is a lot further. And here's the thing: is
there.
if you're okay with the backlash from it, if you're okay with alienating whatever massive percentage of people that you would alienate with something like that, then be yourself. I tell agents on our team all the time, right? If your social media is a place where you are very abrasive and very opinionated, you may not want to bring your sphere and your people into it, right? Keep that at whatever it is. Because to Brian's exact point, you're running a business, a forward-facing business. You can go look at my Facebook profile and pretty much see all my posts. Very little stuff is for friends only. It's almost all public, right? And I think agents just forget about that way, way, way too much. And I don't understand why. Why would you want to put out something that's so abrasive, knowing what, even if that is your personality, right? What sense does that make from a business standpoint? There's zero logic that anything good could have come from that. Even if you are the kind of person who likes to ruffle feathers a little bit, you have to know that there's nothing. I'm more concerned about the lack of just logical thinking that was going on more than anything else. If I'm looking at an agent to represent me, I'm more like, this is what you do in a moment of calmness? Like, you post something like this, I don't know what you're going to do when my deal's falling apart.
That's
some
so
kind of
true.
dumb shit you're going to pull there.
That's the thing. Like, someone who doubles down and puts their digs their heels in, and it's like, deal falls apart, and you're having what should be a logical conversation, and then now seeing the thought process of how they're going to just want to come back and file a lawsuit over because they're trying to make it religious.
Yeah. Sure.
And I'm like, so like that type of, I don't want to have to deal with that type of agent. Because, look, deals go bad.
And there's just a million other agents to choose from who probably have a very similar skill set.
So to answer your
100%.
question, was it you, Brian, that said, does it matter? Or Matt, does it matter if the agent community hates you? I think it does.
I kind of think it does, man.
I think it does because, Elizabeth just closed a deal with
Unless you never plan on competing with another agent again.
Right. right? Just closed a listing deal with the Dare team, the Denton Guam Real Estate Group, and with Nick Biggs, and it was an amazing transaction, super smooth, right? Level heads, and where we had this listing under contract with another agent beforehand, and it was just everything was just escalated 1,000%, right? It'd be like, this is a major item, and it'd be like, one hair of the carpet's coming up, and they're going to terminate if it's not taken care of. It's like, no, we don't want to have to deal with that kind of stuff, right? It's everything's not on fire.
Yep.
and in this agent, if we were dealing with that, and all of a sudden you have to get into what feels like a battle. Now, are things going to get misconstrued? And now they might say, "Oh, is it because I'm whatever?"
Well, and I think the thing is, we all deal with agents like that all the time. Like the agent you dealt with is, I just can't. Even today, I went back and reread the article, and I've seen screenshots of the post now, and tried to find some space where the counter story makes sense, and it just doesn't.
It just doesn't. And here's the thing: we get back to actionable advice and stuff. We think of social media as this just hyper connected flow of information, which it is. What one of the things that it does lack is, and this is also the human element, we lack the discipline to do this. Social media does not really allow for long form conversation with flexible concepts and just that kind of a variance and reasonability and things like that. What I mean by that is I have hard opinions on a lot of things that I think a lot of people would agree with, right? I have opinions on things that people might not agree with. I have opinions on things that I think that people wouldn't agree with if they heard my opinion, and then would agree with if they heard me explain it for 20 minutes, right? Matt and I just shot another podcast before this, which is we're not going to plug on here, but reach out to us if you want to listen. We randomly were talking about Colin Kaepernick for 45 minutes today, which is a weird kind of dated reference now, but we just got on that topic. And it's one of those things where we don't really see eye to eye on all of it. We kind of see opposite on a lot of it. But when you're sitting across a table from somebody, it allows you the space to flesh out your ideas in their entirety and come to some sort of mutual understanding, right? And so we had an incredibly pleasant conversation on something that we didn't really agree with in one another on at the outset. Social media doesn't allow you to do that, to the point where I don't share anything on social media that I think will be polarizing in any way. Not that I won't talk to you about it in person, and not that I really care too much about what changing your mind or anything. I just know that if I put things out there that alienate people, I'm not afforded the ability to sit down for coffee with every single one of them and have a conversation so that I can understand their perspective, they can understand mine, so on and so forth. So I just don't do it, not because I don't want to, but because I'm a professional and I don't want to have to rely on other people to see things the way that I'm trying to put them out there. Meaning that if all I get is one status, that is not enough for me to articulate all my thoughts and feelings on just about anything. I'm giving you the keys to my thoughts, and I'm saying you interpret them, and hopefully you interpret them the exact way that I meant for you to.
Which I'm
not going to do, right?
So and what about the voyeurs out there? So, right? So, the ones that aren't going to comment. So, I had a call today with someone who's thinking about joining our team, and they've done a lot of research. They know my reviews. They've seen the social media posts and everything else. Guess that's an agent side. Guess what? The clients are going even further. And so if they're not commenting on there, if they're just reviewing it, and it's like, oh, this person's a nutso. You just now lost that opportunity. You're losing at bats because you're trying to be polarizing.
Your reach is farther than you think it is. Just not everybody engages.
And we found that out just from this little rinky-dink show, right? We get people reaching out to us about stuff that we've talked about, not in a negative way, just for advice about whatever. So, if you think that that's not happening in your business, especially if you're an agent who's done a significant amount, you've got a decent amount of reviews, you are putting a lot of social media content out there, and you're doing it in a public way, people are seeing that stuff.
Just take a second to think about what satisfaction you really get from it. Here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing that I actually don't do, which is kind of silly, right? I am a diehard New York Giants fan. You know what I usually don't do on social media? I don't talk shit about the Cowboys whenever they're playing the Giants. Not that I don't want to, because it's not fun, because it's fun to do. I just don't know who the next diehard Cowboys fan that might actually hire me to work with them, who's like, I'm not working with that fucking Yankee. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't get enough satisfaction for being a goofball, even though that's totally innocuous, right? I don't do it because I'd rather talk shit to you guys in person about the Cowboys Giants, right? Like, it's a cost benefit analysis, right? How much benefit do I really get from doing stuff like that just so I can be a goofball? And then who is that voyeuristic person out there that actually takes it way more seriously than I do? And like legitimately wouldn't work with me because of my affiliation with sports teams, right?
100%.
And here, that's a really silly example, but it's on a much larger scale. Like, people put stuff like that out there. Like, people will comment on polarizing news stories and political stuff. And like, I get it. You can have your thoughts and opinions and beliefs and stuff like that, but like, if you're trying to build a business in which you rely on interpersonal community or interpersonal relationships to build your business, like, you're alienating so many people by doing that, especially those voyeuristic people, right?
Well, I mean, and if you're watching and tuning in live, if you don't know what we're talking about, I know John Reinhardt asked what article we were referring to. It's the Real Deal.
The comments here.
The Real Deal.
Inman did it. The Real Deal did it.
And it's basically about this EXP agent that had. Basically posted in a group about who is Kobe's realtor.
Yeah.
As soon as the news broke that Kobe had passed away. So, and I know that Matt just posted that in the comments, so you can go take a look at that. Again,
people have said worse. People have done way worse.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, not to beat a dead horse on this one, but it's. We've done it to try to win listing appointments or to win buyer deals over of researching the type of clients that we're working with to make and build rapport.
Sure.
So we're using it on our side. Guess what I'm going to do? If I know I'm competing against one of those agents, I'm going to somehow interject that.
Bro, I'm
going to let you know right now.
Be like,
here's the thing is, right?
Like,
you did. Our CRM allows us to see if somebody has a Facebook account attached to the email address they signed up with. Yeah. I can't go and just see. It's just like I would go to anybody's Facebook. If you got your stuff on lockdown, I can't see anything. But I might be able to go and see that you were a school teacher for 10 years.
Sure.
Or something. Anything that would give me some way of connecting with you or finding an easier route into that conversation. My sister's a teacher. I got that connection now, right? Like, it's not about being dishonest. It's about using the data
for sure
available to you. And now I also think we so rarely know the other agents we're up against that I really don't think that's an issue. Like, they don't. We all go on a lot of appointments and have gone on a lot of appointments. I don't ever know who I'm up against, so it's a very unique situation. Unless I'm losing to Elizabeth.
First off, you should know who you're going against.
Here's the thing.
No, okay, you should.
You should, but here's I'm very candidly. I don't. And anybody can chime in. I know Nick's got it. I don't know. I wouldn't even know where with my style where I would even begin to have that conversation with the seller. Be like, who exactly are you interviewing? Right? Like, I just would never ask that question in a million years. Candidly, I don't really give a rip. Right? Like, I think I probably lost listings because of it.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to change my behavioral style.
It's not going to change a single thing I do in the appointment.
I'm going to tell you right now.
I'm in the middle on this.
I can show you how to interject that into your behavioral style to where you can casually bring it up because you're a lot of your business is coming from agent referrals.
Sure.
But you still may be competing, right? And
I still go on a lot of cold expired appointments and stuff.
And so especially if you're going on cold expired appointment, that's where you definitely have to know. Like, we literally ran an appointment today where we knew all three agents that were going in. All three agents combined only sold 6 houses total.
Yeah.
Right? And we had sold the house across the street already. So, one, we should have a leg up on that. But we're going to show you everything that we're doing to go ahead and win that. So
that's
I like that. I mean,
purely for scoreboarding purposes. I like it.
Well, I think it's of course it's scoreboarding, right?
Why not, dude?
But
this whole industry scoreboarding. I want to sell more houses than you. Like.
Yeah, I think I'm going to show you that at the end of the day, look, our success rate. Like, you're gonna hire one of those 3 agents who combined they've sold 6 houses, and we've sold hundreds.
Right.
I just saw Draper's comment. Sorry.
That one
just stopped down
there. That one did stop. Like, I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
Yeah, no.
We should all do that. Like, exactly at 30 minutes into every episode, we should all just go silent for 5 seconds at the same time. Just completely unspoken.
That's where we throw Derek in there and just throw some
mutes us.
Oh, my God.
You notice how I'm being quiet on this episode? I'm staying quiet on this one, boys. He's
just Derek doesn't want to get involved.
He's not even touching it.
Don't blame him.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, like I'm I'm going to question the brokerage that picked this person up.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
I mean, what's the over-under that they're gone by the end of the week?
Brian said something perfect the other day that I stole from and ran with on social media. At the end of the day, the individual profit margin of each agent is not worth this level of bullshit. It's just not. Why? Like, you're just not making enough off that individual agent.
There's a finite amount. It's a cap, right? So you can decide what your maximum return on this person is going to be, and just decide whether you want that. And
here's the thing. You have to, as a company, this could be a team ownership. We could all deal with something like
I
this.
can tell you right now, I would have canned this person on our team in half a second.
You have to.
Bro, there wouldn't have even been a conversation. It would have been a text message, and the text message would have said, hey, you remember that fucking thing you just posted? Yeah, you're going to need to find a new job.
We've worked too hard to build the reputation that we have. And so I'm not going to let somebody else tear that down. So
that's the thing that people need to understand, because there was some people that are like, well, I think EXP overreacted and stuff. Make no mistake, whether or not you agree with what the person put out there, or whether thought it was like that bad or not, or whatever, EXP did the right thing in the sense that EXP doesn't your broker takes on thousands of agents. They're all counting on you not to be an idiot online. Like, that's a lot of grace that they extend you, right? Like, we don't do a ton of like major background checks when we hire agents. Like, we don't come over and do a visit to see like what type of person you are in your personal life. Like, we extend you a lot of your brokers, your brands extend you a lot of latitude in like, I hope this person isn't a psychopath, right? Like, they don't do a ton of extensive digging. So they're counting on you not to go basically put them on blast by having your branding all over their social media and saying really polarizing stuff that implicates them as an advocate for you, right? So they had every right to do that.
Yeah,
and I think it was the right move.
Look, and I know that that person wasn't the only. I know that some other agents that are also local here that had some polarizing comments, and their brokerage was called out on it as well, and that broker stood by their agent saying there's First Amendment rights and freedom of speech. And so, look, to each their own. Yeah. Right. I just know that if I'm in that position, I'm going to distance myself because I think we need to have more common sense.
I'm not going to blame you either way. If you keep the person on and they get a real kind of wake-up call and a lesson, I'm not going to judge you for that either. If EXP hadn't fired them, I wouldn't be saying they should have. I would have just been like, all right, that's EXP's decision. Now that they did fire that person and people are like, oh, they shouldn't have done that. No, it's absolutely their prerogative to do that as well.
Well, I want to two things. One, like what Brian just said, you do need to be aware that you're always being watched, right? Like whether you agree with that or not, First Amendment, not First Amendment. First off, guys, First Amendment doesn't mean you can't be fired. It means you can't be jailed.
Yes.
Okay? The
big
people who hire you can still choose to fire you. It just means you won't go to jail for being an idiot with your opinions.
Weirdest, uneducated argument people make.
It's the First Amendment. Like, can we at least get that one right? Like, you don't have to. Don't go to like 25 or however many they are. I'm just asking the first one.
Just the first one.
You know what the first one?
Just know what the first one. The first one doesn't mean you can walk into your boss's office and just like scream in his face and
whatever you want.
Yeah, like
you can.
He will fire you.
Yeah. See you after lunch.
Yeah, you can't sue him if he fires you.
Just get out of here. I like John's question. Like, so is this? I assume he meant maybe counterculture meets the shock culture sales world, dude. I don't even think it's like. I don't even think we have to think about that hard. This is just the agent has the right to say and do whatever they want, as the brokerage has the right to distance themselves from as quickly as humanly possible. This is exactly what I tell my 5-year-old. You can make whatever decision you want. You don't get to choose your consequence to that decision, though.
I don't know.
That is just this playing out for a grown-up.
Yes.
That's all it is.
And I mean, to dive into that comment, like, I think that's a really interesting perspective that Reinhard just put out. I don't think it's cancel culture meets the shock in the sense that nobody was going, like, people weren't yelling to the general public like, does everybody see what this agent just put? Like, they're canceled. No, it was people going directly to that agent and being like, this is terrible. Take this down, right? It'd be like in cancel culture, we don't give people that. We don't usually afford people that, right? Like, think of, any business owner that does something that's really, really, really tone deaf. Like, the outrage usually isn't going to that person like, hey, you messed up. Like, you shouldn't do that. Take it. It's usually people putting that communication outward into the public stratosphere was like, did you see what this person did, right? Like, that's more of a culture or cancel culture, I think, mindset. I don't think that happened. I think it was more people were arguing directly with that person who just continued to double down, and people were like, all right, you're an idiot. You know what I mean?
They quadrupled down on Instagram.
Hard, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's definitely something about the shock culture in there for sure. I don't know if the cancel culture thing, I don't know if it's a collision of the two. The shock culture thing is very interesting, though. Like, there's part of me that thinks this person might have put that out there just to get a rise out of people, thinking that it would be
a little edgy, but not
a little
like
edgy and get
blow up your
engagement.
spot.
And it might start a conversation that somehow turned in their favor.
Is that group
but
that was
they
posted
just left her out on an island?
That group's a little edgy anyway, right? Is that the group that was posted in?
I don't know. I think the original
post was
post was on
public.
her page
No,
publicly.
no.
Like, or it was,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
posted by her. I don't know what. Sorry, I don't know what group she originally
Yeah.
posted the original.
You might be right.
comments
I might be wrong.
Yeah,
I think
yeah. It was
you
it was
might be
in a
right.
group
Okay.
page, but I mean with the screenshots going out
Right,
there, etc.
right.
But I couldn't remember if it was one of those edgier groups
Yeah,
that we've
sure.
all
Some of us have been a part of or seen.
Yeah. And so I don't know if that was where it was. They were just trying to get a rise out of that because there's some of those edgier groups out there. But
that is interesting. Not that it makes it okay, but look, there's lots of people watching here, and we're a part of some of them where some crazy that gets posted in there, and it's typically just stuff that doesn't really hurt people's core, right? It's funky, and I think that was the deal with this.
Yeah,
it hurt people personally, and they felt personally attacked by you making fun of the fact that he was dead.
I think that makes it even more tone deaf on the part of the poster, because if this person posted this in a group as a joke, which dude, if you see some of these real estate groups, there's some pretty terrible
Somebody
stuff
just posted it. It wasn't in one of the edgier groups.
That was
It's-
Real Estate Mastermind.
It was Real Estate
Yeah.
Mastermind. Okay, that's right, right. And even if you put, like, there's memes that go on that are really edgy in there. And here's the thing, in the comment threads, sometimes it gets a little split, but mostly people are joking and supportive of, like, oh, this edgy meme. If you put it in one of those and people dogpile on you, take that shit down.
Yeah, because those people don't care at all.
Yeah, especially, dude. That's probably the
of you
safest
know who
place
you
to
are.
post something like that. And if you get blasted for that, man, did you mess up.
Yeah.
it was too soon, right? And I don't even
It
know.
was immediately.
Yeah, yeah. Like
There was somebody in our group that was like, well, maybe they didn't know, and it was a pre-post. I'm like, boy, that'd be
No,
about the worst.
no,
And of course, they were just throwing out there, like,
Yeah, play
look, what if
devil's
it was the
advocate.
craziest situation
Sure.
imaginable?
Yes,
The reality
yes.
is,
Playing devil's advocate.
I
can see
get
that.
it, I get
think
it,
it's
but-
not true, but I could see that that's devil's advocate for sure.
before we get into, are you ready for your billionaire idea?
I'm so revved up today. I'm ready.
All right. So join us tomorrow. If you're listening, watching this live, join us Thursday, 11 a.m. Central Time for our virtual assistant webinar. It is the link is posted in the comments, but you can also register through our Facebook group, the only real estate group worth being a part of. Jump on there. We're going to teach you, we're going to have Justin Nelson on. He's going to teach you how he's leveraged his business. He's 23 years old, and how he's leveraged his business with utilizing 8 virtual assistants,
Jeez.
right? And how he's cutting out the middleman, right? There's a lot of companies out there you can hire that's going to charge you $10, $15 an hour, $8 to $15 an hour. It's going to teach you how to cut that middleman out, train them the right way for, on average, $3.50 an hour. It's $500 a month for a full-time virtual assistant that's helping you scale and leverage your business, taking off responsibilities that don't make you money.
Sure.
So join us tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time. There will be a replay on it, but the only way you're going to get that replay is if you sign up.
yeah, you got to sign up, get the replay.
Be there.
So billionaire idea.
And now, Brian Force's billionaire movie something.
Derek, I'm so tired of talking about this, but I feel like they're daring me to continue talking about this.
I thought we were about to have a breaking news in here because we have an over-under of when a car crashes.
hear that screech?
Yes. And
Dude,
so
there's-
Derek is going to be breaking
hear it.
in.
There's a
We've been paying attention.
Big time tire screech right behind us.
Yeah.
I need a good over/under on podcasting.
Is it only Nick's camera that picks up the highway?
I said 7 episodes. This is number
Just
2.
Nick's camera that picks it up. It
It's
looks
7
like.
episodes.
We're gonna put a
We need to
traffic.
happen right
We're gonna
there.
put a traffic cam out there.
Anyway, there's part of me that now thinks that they're just continuing to do this because they saw my bits and they want to keep pushing me. I saw a trailer for the new Terminator movie, and Derek, I was furious. The fact that they can continue to make Terminator movies without answering or even addressing the most basic questions drives me to a point of almost legitimate unfettered insanity. The opening of the trailer is Sarah Connor, who is much older now, obviously, knocking on the door of some like just like distant lodge somewhere in the wilderness. And who answers but late 70s-year-old Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's supposed to be a robot, Derek. And the fact that they think that Cyberdyne Systems has not only been building robots that can't find somebody in a fucking phone book, but somehow have the capacity to age so accurately is just so insulting to the consumer. It's just, I had to buy a new TV. Not even because I broke it. I was just like, because I saw this on this TV, I never want to look at this TV again. And I threw it out the window, and I went and bought a new one. The nerve of the people in Hollywood to just be like, why don't we bring back 900-year-old Arnold Schwarzenegger to just play the same dude who's supposed to be Did C-3PO get older? Am I missing something here? Derek? No. He's a robot. He stays a robot. He's made out of metal, which doesn't show age like human. I'm so upset, Derek.
Maybe it's like Men in Black when the bug comes down and he wears an Edgar suit.
Wears an Edgar suit.
I thought they addressed it a little bit though. The skin still ages.
Why would the skin?
It's human. It's real human skin. They said.
I can't wait to get this guy to Colorado and help him
real
relax.
human skin wouldn't age. It doesn't have blood flowing.
I think they addressed it in one of the movies, didn't they?
Oh my goodness!
I don't know. If they did, I missed it. And it was honestly, I don't even want to see the explanation because I know it's not going to hold up. It's just probably some one throwaway line that just doesn't even make sense scientifically. It's just going to make me more mad. If they even try to explain this, it's going to be so half-assed that it's just going to upset me even more. And I'm going to be running out of TVs left and right. Anyway, Derek.
Well, make sure to join us for our webinar tomorrow, where we'll be talking virtual assistants at affordable rates. All right, boys. It was fantastic talking social media. Hopefully nobody takes any of this out of context and absolutely shreds our careers.
Mm-hmm.
Derek, take us out.